What's the worst parenting advice you ever received?
I was aware of all of the recommendations with all the books of how you're supposed to raise your kids and put them to sleep and get a sleep schedule and all that. I threw all that out the window. And I'm a nurse, so there are specific things that they tell you you're supposed to do, and for safety, but I don't follow all those things either.
Parenting adults is so tricky. I have often found myself saying, I have to be invited into the conversation. If they know you have their back, I love you regardless. And you can keep asking for that thing I'm saying no to you about, but it doesn't mean no is never. I mean, it might be yes. It might be yes later, but you might have to convince me. I want to see the wisdom. And why don't you prove to me that you really need that, and come back and we'll talk some more. Never squelch the conversation. And it's the invitation.
I think I've become more of a grace-based grandparent than I was a parent. And here's another thing you can do when you're a grandparent. Say, that was really wrong. I don't know why I made you do that. I think you're doing a much better job at it than I am.
I think just having kids has been such a joy, a bigger joy than I ever imagined or dreamed that it would be. And just seeing them grow up into the person that they're going to be.
When my kids demonstrate basically the fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, any of those things without my prompting. Like when one of my kids will earn or win a prize, they'll always try to earn or win a second prize to give to their brother.
I would show up at line with my latest little kindergartner, and the teachers would come out and they would look at me and go, every time I look at you, I think of laundry. I go, you're right. I go, you're right. You're right. That is my story.
Trying to teach them how to have patience and to love each other, and then I need to have patience in teaching them and loving them as well.
For me, I wish so desperately that I could stay home with my kids, but it's just not an option financially. So my challenge then with that is just juggling so many roles all the time. I know Lisette said, wearing many hats, and the challenge to that, feeling like I'm shortchanging every role that I play in my life. So shortchanging my role as a mother, shortchanging my role as a wife, as a teacher. He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.
Raise your eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? It comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. And he will not let your foot slip.
Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves.
So I think for me, actually going through the Emotionally Healthy Women course that we did, I think as a mom, we feel like we have to do it all and do it all well. But the best thing that I can do for myself and for my husband and for my kids is to be honest and say, I need help.
A lot of moms say that they would love to stay at home if they could. I actually was not one of those moms. I like my work, and I like adult conversation, and I like feeling like I can, use my brain outside of 2-year-old land.
It's so far and few those moments of silence that I have just to myself. And so for me, I just love turning off the radio and trying to connect with God. And I find that there's silence, the first thing I find myself doing is praying to him. So
I take time in the morning now that I'm a retired lady. And then I go out to my garden bench and I can be right in my garden, and I take my prayer journal with me or the Bible. You can't have anything to offer unless you've been still and been filled up first, and knowing deep down that we're all beloved. You know, we are so richly loved by our God.
Well, you know, I say I didn't really have a close relationship with my mom, but she gave up a lot. And she was afflicted with guilt and shame, having gotten divorced, living in a legalistic family. She was feeling in the guilt and the shame, and yet she was doing her best. We've got to tell these mothers and these... They can't live in shame. They shouldn't. My mother was a Christian. She didn't receive the forgiveness. That's there. That's what's there. All that guilt and shame, done with.